Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, and you know what time it is. It's my favourite time of the week, and I'm only a fraction as excited as I'm going to be next week because I'm now here to officially announce that next week's Wrestlers of the Week will be 1 to 20. That's right, 20 places up for grabs, 20 points up for grabs as well, because there's just too much bloody wrestling. I'm so tired. But for this week, we're not going to take any of the WrestleMania weekend matches that have happened so far into account. It's all going to be from last weekend up until about sort of Wednesday, Thursday this week. So it's a bit of a strange one, but don't worry because there was plenty of good action to look at, both WWE and non-WWE. So let's take a look at the honourable mentions. So first of all, I have to give a shout out to the Carlton Brock on Twitter, who recommended to me an Empire State Wrestling match between Pepper Parks, also known as Braxton Sutter in Impact Wrestling, and Kevin Bennett, who had a match which was like the culmination of a blood feud last weekend. So thanks very much for the recommendation. They're both honourable mentions. Also want to give a shout out to Bianca Belair and Kairi Sane, who kind of started to tear the house down on NXT, but then the match got ruined by those bloody MMA horsewomen, and then the entire rest of the women's roster got involved as well. And also Joe Coffey, who picked up some good momentum on NXT UK with a big win over Triggity Trent 7. Now onto the list proper, and it's time to start off with number 10, Dash Wilder. So the Revival have had a bit of a weird time recently, haven't they? Because even though they're Raw Tag Team Champions, they haven't really been booked that well, and clearly they're showing their discontent quite a lot on social media and stuff, and everyone's kind of getting the sense that it's only a matter of time until they let their contracts run down and head off to pastures new, let's say. Let's not give any specifics, but pastures new. But Wilder was part of probably the best match on WWE TV this week, tagging, of course, with Scott Dawson to take on Ricochet and Aleister Black. And the only drawback is they've wrestled so much recently, and the Revival can't buy a win. Well, they did win this time, picking up the sneaky count-out victory to retain their titles, and then giving a nice heelish celebration afterwards. Like, yes, we've still got the belts, and then the babyfaces kicked the crap out of them afterwards. But you know what? The heel boys still have the gold, and that's what matters, Ricochet and Aleister Black. Huh? And of course, the Revival have, at the 11th hour, been added to the WrestleMania 35 card as of last night. They will be defending their Raw Tag Team titles against, well, not against Ricochet and Aleister Black, actually, because they're over in the tag team, over in the SmackDown tag team side of things. They'll actually be defending against Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Could their reign be in jeopardy? Maybe. Yeah, really could be, actually. Number 9 is Dash Wilder's partner, Scott Dawson. I only gave him the edge because of the finish of the match. They both wrestled the match really well, but I'll explain what happened at the end if you didn't see it. So basically, Ricochet was being a silly boy, as he always is, just launching himself over the corner of the ring, over the ring post, clean over to the outside, landing on both men and just wiping them out. And then it all devolved into a bit of a brawl on the outside, and it looked like the babyfaces were going to pick up a lot of steam and actually take the titles from the Revival on the way to WrestleMania. But instead, Dash Wilder, the legal man, managed to get back into the ring, and it looked like Ricochet, the legal man, was also going to get back into the ring. But at the count of 9, he tried to get in, and oh no, what's this? Scott Dawson was hiding under the ring, grabbed his leg and went, "You're not getting back in that ring, mate." The referee didn't see it, of course, because Scott Dawson was on the outside. Well, he was under the ring. He was hiding under the ring. Like what the Young Bucks used to do in New Japan, actually. Ooh, was that a reference, actually, that I've just caught? It could have been. It could have been. But through his heel trickery, Scott Dawson not only managed to win the match, but allow himself and Dash Wilder to retain the Raw Tag Team titles and take them into WrestleMania weekend, where they're going to probably lose to the New York boys. Because it's in New York. We'll see. So well done to both members of the Revival, just hoovering up a few little points at the lower reaches of the Wrestlers of the Week League table. Well done, lads. Good job. Now on to number 8, and we're going over to Stardom to talk about Mayu Iwatani. Mayu Iwatani is currently the Women of Honor champion, Ring of Honor's, women's title, and she successfully defended it this week over in Japan in Stardom against Natsuko Tora. It was one of the best matches this week, so why doesn't she rank higher on the list, Jack, you bloody dick? I'll explain. Just calm down, please. So the match was a really good one. They packed a lot in. It went a decent amount of time, sort of just between like 10 and 15 minutes. But at the same time, there was one factor that sort of took me out of the match a little bit, and that was we just knew that Iwatani wasn't going to lose here. How do we know that? We know that because she was already booked to defend that title against Kelly Klein at the G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden tomorrow at the time of recording. So I just don't think it would have made sense to put the belt on a smaller name, no disrespect to Tora, but to hotshot the belt onto a smaller name heading into that show. It was so predictable that Iwatani was going to win, and even though it was the right call, it did take me a little bit, just a little bit, out of the match, but not too badly. It was still really good, and Iwatani still definitely deserves some points. It's also going to be a really cool moment to get to see her defend that title in Madison Square Garden, because she is one of the brightest stars in Japanese women's wrestling right now and has a very, very bright future ahead of her. I think she's still like easily in her maybe early 20s or so. She's such like a young phenomenon of Japanese wrestling, and I just think the world's her oyster. So fair play to you, Iwatani. Good luck at MSG. I don't know if she's going to win or not, but it'd be nice to see her in that arena, you know? It's the most famous arena in the world, as everyone always reminds us. Number 7 is Katsuhiko Nakajima from Noah. Now forgive me because I'm not too familiar with all of the participants in his match this week, so I'm going to have to use my notes. I just don't want to mispronounce anything. And I probably still will. So Nakajima was in a 6-man tag alongside his partners Go Shiozaki and Hayata. They defeated the trio of Kaito Kiyomiya, Kenuo, and Yohei. Now, this is important because you might think, well, he was on the winning side in a 6-man tag, Jack. What does that even mean? No, right? Okay, Nakajima got the pinfall over Kiyomiya. That's important because Kiyomiya, he's such a young, pretty little bastard. He's currently the GHC Heavyweight Champion, which is the main championship in Pro Wrestling Noah. So for Nakajima, a more established star, to get the pinfall over this younger champion, he's so young and just so talented at such an age. I hate him. You can tell who I want to win the eventual match, can't you? For Nakajima to pin his opponent in such a way, and yes, the belt wasn't on the line, but it sets up what is sure to be one hell of a title match. Maybe the best Noah sort of title match this year, the best GHC Heavyweight Championship match in 2019. You may be familiar with Nakajima even if you've never checked out Noah before, if you watch New Japan, because I think it was like 3 years ago now maybe, he was actually a participant in the G1 Climax, and it was awesome. It was the same year that Marufuji came in as well. They got a couple of Noah guys in, and Nakajima was one of them, and really impressed. He's got some great strikes, and generally is just a great all-around wrestler. I'm really looking forward to this title match that is sure to happen against Kiyomiya, and the good thing is as well, I genuinely can't predict a winner because Nakajima is the more established name by this point in his career, whereas Kiyomiya is the champion, and a successful defense against Nakajima would really elevate his stock. But I hate him because he's pretty, so come on Nakajima, you can do it. Do it for the average looking lad. No, Nakajima's quite attractive as well actually. Oh, this is annoying. Number 6, let's go to episode 1 of... No, not that episode 1. It's not bloody Darth Maul. Stop it. Let's go to episode 1. That was the worst joke I've ever told. Let's go to episode 1 of Beyond Wrestling's new Uncharted Territory series. 5 points this week go to the man who impressed me the most in that episode, and he is a man who's been on Wrestlers Week before. He's no stranger to this video series. It's David Starr. Starr wrestled Masato Tanaka, who's obviously getting on a bit in years, but is still incredible given his age and his legacy and everything. And Starr actually lost the match, but it was hard-hitting, it was intense, it was everything you want a Tanaka match to be, and everything you want a certain type of David Starr match to be as well. And even though he lost, he, for me, was the wrestler that made... If you went into this show not knowing anyone on the card, not knowing anything really about wrestling, David Starr is the guy who would have made the most of an impression on a new viewer. That's kind of, I think, what David Starr's whole manifesto is. He tries to be the most memorable person on every single card he's on, whether that be through his excellent promos, he's one of the best promos in the business right now, whether it's through his intense match style, or whether it's just through his general presence and charisma, because even though he's not the biggest guy at all, he certainly carries himself like he's about 7'6" or something. So Starr gets the points for this match, even though he lost, and also as well, I need to talk about what happened at WXW. I wasn't going to dwell too much on what happened at WrestleMania weekend so far, because that's all going to be covered next week, but I do have to mention this, and it hasn't been taken into consideration for his points total this week. It's just worth talking about. So at the WXW show last night, David Starr quit WXW, and no one can work out quite how much of a work or quite how much of a shoot this is. But Starr is rapidly establishing himself as maybe the most outspoken wrestler in the world today. He cut a promo saying, right, I'm quitting WXW, I can't beat Walter, and even when I did beat him, the referee didn't spot him tapping out, so I was screwed, I'm off, see you later. Also, I hate that you're affiliated with WWE now, you shouldn't be affiliated with a company that essentially that won't unionize. He brought up the John Oliver argument, and even made a reference to the whole Saudi Arabia situation, so that is just, well, it's hard to work out how much of a work and how much of a shoot that is, but it's certainly getting his name on the map, so I have to commend him for it, I guess. At the same time, please be careful, David. please be very careful. Just think of your career in the long term, please. Number 5 is a man that I've actually known for quite some time now. Yes, that's right, I'm putting one of the lads that I know from wrestling on Wrestlers of the Week. What a bloody surprise. This man is Paul Robinson. So there's a match we need to talk about, right, on Progress this week, which hasn't actually gone up on demand yet, but if I left it like too late to include in this video and waited for it to actually go up on demand, then unfortunately I wouldn't be able to include the wrestlers in it next week because it would all be swamped by WrestleMania weekend stuff. So I had to include it this week, and I'm so glad that I did because this was insane. The main event of the last Progress show is being talked about as one of the best Progress matches of all time, which is incredible given the quality of matches they've had over the last few years. It's astonishing. It was a ladder match for the Progress Tag Team Championships between the Swords of Essex and Aussie Open, and my God, the bits that I've seen from this match and the reviews that I've read all indicate that it was about a 5-star match or thereabouts. The crowd were molten hot for it, and even though he was on the losing side, Paul Robinson impressed so much, especially given the fact that not too long ago it looked like he was going to have to retire from the ring. If you've never seen Paul Robinson before as well, let me just give you a brief summary of his character. Little skinhead, evil looking, heel, dickhead. Oh, I hate him so much. In real life, lovely guy. In character, the worst sort of heel you could ever imagine, and he's brilliant at it too. He's so good at just walking into a room and getting everyone to hate him. It's brilliant. I'm quite good at that as well. I should start doing this whole wrestling business. Unfortunately, we can't dwell on Paul Robinson for too long, but definitely check him out if you're unfamiliar with UK wrestling. Now we're moving on to one of his opponents in the match, the Aussie Arrow, Carl Fletcher. So if you're also unfamiliar with Carl Fletcher, let me give you a brief rundown. He is cheeky, he's lanky, he loves a laugh, he can do comedy matches, he can also put on excellent matches like this one. He's also a wonderful high flyer as well. I saw him participate in this year's, or last year's rather, Rev Pro Super J Cup. So that was really cool to see as well. He got to wrestle some guys who he matched up really well with. But in this sort of match, he really did excel too. One thing that I liked was that all 4 competitors in the match also came out in their jeans to emphasize the whole hardcore, rough edge, street fighting nature of this match. But there were some really pretty spots as well. And some not so pretty ones too, i.e., is Carl Fletcher alright? Because one of the bits of this match that's really been doing the rounds is Carl Fletcher taking, I think it was like a sunset bomb off the side of the ladder, and he lands, guess what the cushion is for? 2 chairs? 2 chairs set upright, and his shoulder blades just go right into them and his head goes between, and I was just like, is he okay? It was a really nasty spot. They carried on, and eventually Aussie Open in fact won the match, but I just hope he's alright. He is such a promising young guy as well, another young guy in like his early 20s I think, and a great high flyer too, and definitely one to watch for the future. I don't know if he's gonna, I imagine the WWE's trying to sign him to NXT UK already, and it seems as though he may have said no because he just seems so good already at such a young age that they must have tried to snap him up. Maybe he's committed to the independent scene. I don't really know, I'm just speculating pointlessly, but I guess the same could be said for his tag partner. Speaking of his tag partner, let's take a look at number 3. So number 3 is Marc Davis, who is the bigger, older, more hard-hitting member of the team, and it makes for a really good dynamic. So you've got this sort of nimble high flyer and this big brute who's just going to come in and just take someone's head off. It works really, really well. Marc Davis's whole thing is that in Progress, he's had this title shot for ages because he won the Natural Progression, I think it's called, tournament, where basically the winner of it got a title shot of their choosing. He didn't choose the singles match. I think this was his cash-in match. He chose to go for the tag titles with his mate, Carl Fletcher. That's lovely. Aww. Now, you might also think that in a ladder match, the smaller member of the team would be the one that stands out most, but Marc Davis really hit the headlines. He was who everyone was absolutely raving about in the aftermath of this match, especially one spot in particular where he literally pile drove one of his opponents from the side of a ladder into the middle of the ring, and it looked brutal, but I mean the fact that the guy's not dead kind of implies that it was safe as well, so that's alright. Oh man, it was an astonishing thing to watch, and at times Marc Davis is an astonishing wrestler to watch as well, and just like Carl Fletcher, I'd be amazed if WWE hadn't at least had him on their radar for now. Yeah, he's got it all really. He can do deceptively high flying kind of stuff for a man of his size. He can strike, he can move, he's great at like selling and everything. He's just a really good all-rounder, and this match, it turns out, was the perfect display of all of those abilities, even though going in, as I say, you might expect the nimbler guy to take more of the limelight. Next up, number 2, and before I reveal who it is, I have to give a big shout out to everyone who contacted me to watch this match. Most of them had actually contacted me after I'd already watched it because it was available for free on YouTube, but I still appreciate everyone going, you need to watch this match, because it was so good. Like, so good. I got tweets about it, I got messages. Someone emailed the Cultaholic email account. Danny Vidal, he's called. I believe he is Spanish, and he said, check out this match from Spain. It's incredible. And I did check out the match from Spain, and that's why number 2 on this week's Wrestlers of the Week is A-Kid. A-Kid hit the headlines last year in a weird sort of situation where he'd had a match with Zack Sabre Jr. in his home promotion in Madrid, which is called White Wolf Wrestling, and basically it was a 5-star match. It was insane. This match with Zack Sabre Jr. only got picked up by the general wider wrestling public months down the line, and Meltzer actually retroactively awarded it 5 stars. And if you watched this series last year as well, you'll remember that I gave A-Kid a special sorry mate kind of award because I missed that match that week, like everyone did, apart from people who were there. And basically this was me saying, oh, it's all right, mate, don't worry about it. I still know that you've done okay, you just don't get any points. But guess what? This week he had a match, and I did watch it, and it was insane. People are saying that it might even be better than the one against Zack Sabre Jr. Other people are saying it's really different to the match he had against Zack, and you can't really compare the two in terms of quality. I think, honestly, I preferred this match to the Zack one, which I've obviously since watched, but you kind of got to put them on a par. It's just really a testament to how good this guy is, and I think he's 21 years old and is just already one of the best wrestlers in Europe, maybe even the world. He's got it all. He can fly, he can do submissions, he can tell the story and the pacing of a match as well. He's not just like a spotty sort of guy. He knows how to weave a story into the fabric of a match, and that's exactly what you want. He's so good. He's so good. Watch this match on White Wolf Wrestling's YouTube channel. I can't recommend it enough. It also had the benefit of a really peculiar sort of crowd, because this crowd were kind of split 50-50 between A-Kid and his opponent, but as the match wore on and A-Kid hung in there against the bigger name, everyone slowly went over to his side like Rocky. He did lose in the end, but there was an amazing show of respect in the ring afterwards, and it was just an incredible match. Right, okay, now let's talk about his opponent. I'm sure you know who it is, but just don't... Look, it's fine. It's going to be okay. Number 1 this week, and my Wrestler of the Week, you may have heard of him, is Will Ospreay. It's the first time he's been Wrestler of the Week in 2019, okay? I couldn't deny Ospreay the 10 points this week, to be honest, because if we just look at what happened, right? If you just lower your guns and let's look at what happened, right? Ospreay had 2 matches this week that were pretty much 5-star matches. The tag match alongside Paul Robinson against Aussie Open, and also this match that I've just talked about in Spain against A-Kid. You have 2 5-star matches in the space of like a week. I can't deny you that. I can't take away the 10 points just because you're Will Ospreay and people are going to get cross at me. And as I said, this is the first time he's been... Oh, God. Oh, everyone's just going to kill me. Everyone's going to hate my guts. Watch those matches, right? Especially the one against A-Kid. That was wonderful. Check it out on YouTube. It's there now. Go and watch it. And then try to deny Ospreay's 10 points this week. I beg you. I challenge you. What am I doing? I'm getting all... I think I'm panicking. On a serious note as well, Ospreay, you could tell, was taking the lead in this match against A-Kid as the slightly older, more experienced person in the match. But the genius of it was, he didn't make it look like he was taking the lead. You had to really watch for it. And once you did, you could see that it was Ospreay leading the way. But at the same time, the fact that he could disguise that and make it look like he was on the back foot a lot of the time, that's really impressive, and that's such a good skill to have. So congratulations, Will Ospreay, you are my Wrestler of the Week. Let's just take a look at what that's done to the league table. So Ospreay has leapfrogged the leaders and taken the top spot by 8 points, but don't worry, because next week there are as many as 20 points up for grabs, so it can all change in a heartbeat. If you look at the chasing pack, almost everyone chasing Ospreay is in a higher profile match than Ospreay is this weekend. So you got Okada versus Jay White, Kofi Kingston's title match, Gargano in the main event of TakeOver, Velveteen Dream also on that show, Becky Lynch of course in the main event of WrestleMania. It's going to be a real game changer of a week next week. Oh, and as well, if you hang on until the bottom of the list, you can see there's David Starr sneaking in. There he is. What a little rascal. What a bloody little legend. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter at Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.